everybody. Hi, it's Becky from powertoolswiththread.com. That's my blog. We're going to do a Creative Notions reveal today. The box this month is pretty cool. But I've got a lot of stuff going on here and I wanted to talk to you about some of the things that I've got going on. I've heard from a couple of you that you really like my new camera setup where I show you things over here. I've got another camera on the side and then I show you things kind of close up. So thanks for the feedback on that. I appreciate that. But, all right. Y'all, I got something, has nothing to do with quilting. Well, it kind of does. Not really. I don't know. I bought a glass chair mat. It's not a Vitraza, but it's a like company. Oh my gosh. You want to talk about a change in my world? Who would have thought? It's just amazing though, because I sit over there at my desk all the time doing video editing and reading emails and Facebook and all that kind of stuff on my laptop. And I used to struggle and, scooch with that thing. And I was constantly fighting with my chair mat. And I finally just bit the bullet and said, you know what, I'm just going to get a glass one. And so I went looking around. And I'll put a link to the one that I got below. Best, not quite $200 that I have spent in a long time. My chair just glides over it. It was one of those things where I started, you are so beautiful to me. Oh my gosh, you guys. I love that thing. I'm a bit of a nerd. Oh, speaking of nerdy things, yesterday I watched a movie on Netflix called The Professor and the Madman. Have you guys seen that? It's about the creation of the Oxford English Dictionary. Or is it the English Oxford? No, Oxford English Dictionary. Fascinating. If you're a word nerd like me, you will love that. It's got Mel Gibson in it and Sean Penn. And Sean Penn's acting through this whole thing is just fabulous. But I was gripped. I was like focused on this thing. Keith put it on for me because we had a kind of trying past couple of days and he took pity on me. I'll tell you about that in a second. But he couldn't take it. He could only take about 30 minutes of it and then he's like, I can't take this, and he got up and left. Well, because it doesn't have Steven Seagal or Walker Texas Ranger or something like that. So he likes those kind of movies, of course. This thing, I absolutely loved it. So the past couple of days, we had a yard sale. Oh. Well, we had a yard sale yesterday. And of course, the day before or days before, you're getting ready and pulling everything out and all of this. And that kind of happened because when I moved into this room that I'm in right now, which is a converted 2-car garage, all of the stuff went into a covered trailer that our friends have. And so it's been out back since February when I moved in here. We did the remodel. And I wanted to get our friend's trailer back to them. And so, that was one of those kind of experiments in time. There was so much that was in that trailer that when it was time to bring everything back in the house to set up my old sewing room to be the new game room, 2 weeks ago, I think it was, we called a company to come and put the pool table back together and refelt it and all of that. And I would give them a good review. They did a good job on the pool table, but they left a dirty job site. I even found little staples in the dog's water bowl. Not cool. So, won't be reviewing that company here. But when it came time to move all that stuff back in the house, I told Keith, I said, we've been doing without this stuff for 4 months. We don't need all of this. We need to get rid of all of this. And so that initiated weeding out what we really wanted to keep in the game room and then what we didn't. And then, we need more stuff for a yard sale. So we emptied out one of those, not a Tough Shed. There's a brand, it's down here called Chaparral. We have a Chaparral and it's like Tough Shed, but it's, I don't know, how big is that thing? 15 by 20, pretty good size. Packed to the gills with stuff, just packed. So got a lot of that stuff out. And then a lot of stuff out of the attic. not as much as I would have liked out of the attic, but we're constrained down here by heat. So if you don't get your work done by 10 in the morning, 9:30, 10 in the morning, it's way too hot to be outside. It's just, in South Texas, it's a lot like the way it is in the winter with y'all that live up north, and you're up to here in snow and you can't go anywhere. It's kind of like that down here because the heat is, especially as you age, it's just outrageously oppressive. And then, so the heat doesn't break until 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, where you can finally stand it again. And so we were working in the morning to get stuff out of the shed, and then in the afternoon or evening, we were getting stuff out of the attic, because, you know, as soon as you pull down that attic door, it's like an oven. You just open the oven door. And I have one of those, it's a zipper. So when I pull down the attic door, I undo a zipper and fold the flap back, and that's when the heat comes down. So anyway, all right, so back to the garage sale. Put all that stuff out, did all kinds of signage, put it on our Facebook community chat, everything that I could. 2 customers. 2. In 6 hours. I sat outside for 6 hours, and I was okay. I was in the shade, and I had a fan going behind me, a big outdoor fan. 2 customers. And it was awful. And I was like, never again. I'm never doing this again. So yesterday at the end of the day, Keith loaded up, I would say, the lion's share of what everything was left. I'm talking quality stuff, you guys. I mean, brand new Harley Davidson jackets and helmets and all kinds of stuff from back when we used to ride. I rode till I had a grandchild, and I realized my own mortality. So then put all of that and put it in the truck, and Keith was going to take it to a Goodwill about 20 miles away. And he was on his way there and passed our little local flea market. And that's a little mom and pop that's been there forever. And so he pulled in and said, hey, do you want all this stuff? And they're like, sure, you know. So unloaded the truck, 2 loads of the truck. Gave him $25 for his trouble. Oh, and you know what I found in there? I found a Singer Rocketeer. And it ran. And I was gonna get it, and she was willing to trade me that for the load, but it didn't have the cover on the top. It had a lot of damage. The handle was missing and all of that. It did run, but the cords were frayed, and I'm not in the restoration business, so that didn't happen. That ended up not happening. So I finished the Spaceman pattern from Villa Rosa Designs. I finished the quilt top, and it's great. But I wanted to show you Barb, one of my viewers, Barb. She sent me a picture of what she had done with the Spaceman pattern, and let me put it right here. So she took the baby shark panel and put the Spaceman half square triangles around it. Isn't that smart? That turned out so stinking cute. When I saw it on my screen, I was like, oh my gosh, that's adorable. I absolutely love it. I think that's great. See, that's a very, very versatile pattern, so that's kind of cool. So I lost one of the half square triangles that went on that Spaceman. I was down on the floor. I was looking around. I'm like, where did this thing go? I could not find it anywhere. And then my robot vacuum, you know, every day I empty out the dustbin and everything's fine and whatnot. Well, my robot vacuum got stuck. I got up in the morning and it was stuck over here by Mount Scrapmore, and I picked it up, and it was time to clean out the filter in it and everything. And I pulled out the dustbin, and I finally had it upside down, and look what I found. Oh man, look at that. It had been, look at how dusty and dirty brown it is. It had been shoved up behind the dustbin. It never made it into the dustbin. It was shoved up behind it, and I don't know how that thing was working. I thought it was picking up less dog fur. I was like, man, my dogs aren't shedding as much. That doesn't seem right for a hot summer. It's running better now. So, hey, Silky has a mystery box out. And if you are new to embroidery and you want to maybe, or maybe you're not new to embroidery, maybe you just want to try some things that are a little bit out of different that you normally wouldn't buy, well, they've got the Silky Mystery Box. I'm looking at it on the screen behind the camera right now. It's $29.99. And I gotta tell you, I went through it. I've got it right here. And I went through it. And I added up all the goodies that are in here. And it's over twice what you're paying. So, it's not like a kit where there's something for you to do. They don't have like a pattern and all the stuff to make it like a monthly box type thing. This is just a mystery box where you're gonna get some really cool Silky products and a couple other little notions. And there's a fabulous coupon in here too. I can tell you right now, well worth the $29.99 price tag. So I'll put a link to this below, and if you get it, I think you're gonna like it. One of the things I wanted to tell you guys was, especially if you're new to embroidery, OESD is famous for their stabilizers. They make a lot of great stabilizers. They have this thing, it's a stabilizer guide. This is money well spent, in my opinion. So the stabilizer guide has a list of all of the stabilizers that are included in here, and it gives you the code that they are on their website, and it tells you what it is, the title of it, and the weight of the stabilizer. On the end it'll have the weight, and then it goes through. So number 1 is heavyweight cutaway black, and that means the very first one is heavyweight cutaway black. So you can feel it and you can see exactly what it is that you're getting. Because a lot of times it'll say lightweight. Well, you're like, is that lightweight like a topper, or is that lightweight like not heavyweight? You know, you don't know. This is why I like these kind of things, because it lets you you can feel it, and you can say, okay, now I know what it is that I'm getting. Yeah. So this is just awesome. There's everything in here from iron-ons to different weight, different colors. There's a topper. See that in the white, and here's a couple of different toppers in the clear, and it just lets you know what you're getting. And this is, to me, is invaluable. I love these kind of things. I'm glad they finally put one together, and $7 well spent. Well spent, to give you an idea of everything that's in here. And it's separated. They've got little cardboard separators. So as you go through the different sections, it's separated there, but that way you can tell exactly what you're getting. I have 2, not 1, but 2 jelly rolls of the Dover fabric by Brenda Riddle. And they had some on a Fat Quarter Shop had it on their flash sale one day. Couldn't resist. I absolutely love this fabric. And I know I've shown you guys the jelly roll before, but I love the soft baby blues and the greens and the grays, and this would make a gorgeous baby quilt. Just beautiful. I love Dover fabrics, the Dover line. Obviously, that looks like ticking, doesn't it? I just love it. It's so pretty. Real pretty stuff. Okay, so I got that. Why? Because I'm obsessed with Dover fabric. Can you tell I'm tired? That garage sale wore me out. I slept good last night too, like a log. My husband says, you didn't even, usually I wake up in the middle of the night and I read a little bit. I didn't even do that. I was wore out. Work in progress, June Bugs by Villarosa Designs. Where's my pattern? So I'm doing June Bugs from Villarosa Designs. I've showed you guys this in the last video or two. I got all of my June Bugs. Last time I talked to you, they were put together, but this time now I've put on all of the marked triangle squares and trimmed them and ironed them flat. All 20 June Bug bodies are built. And now I just need to cut the sashing and put them together. So that's good. Got that done. I haven't done any more work on Wellington for the RV. The RV is at the doctor right now getting the air conditioners fixed. We had an issue with the spring or something on the back passenger side. They said they couldn't fix that. So we've got a buddy of ours who fixes RVs for a living, and he's going to come take a look at it. So that's kind of cool. Hey, I've been working on the Merry and Bright. Which we're going to start, the video series for that starts July 5th. And so I have been stitching it up so I could, see any pitfalls, give you guys some advice or whatever. And it's just coming along, just gorgeous. I do a video of a single one in the single needle in Darla. So I did 2 of them in a single needle, and you can tell that these were done in the single needle because you can still kind of see the hoop burn around there, okay? In the multi-needle, I've been doing them 6 at a time. So I cut 1 strip of fabric, 1 long strip of fabric, and I'm doing them 3 at a time. If you are doing this already, if you've started it already, I want to give you a little piece or a little tip, not necessarily advice, but a tip. I'm a bit of a fabric Scrooge, especially, when you're $8, $9 a yard or more. When you cut your strips apart, cut long ways first. You're going to cut a 1/2 inch seam allowance-ish or a 1/4 inch, whatever you're comfortable with. Cut it long ways first and use that long strip as a binding strip so you don't have to cut more binding. That's awesome to do that. I'll probably be cutting mine. If I can get 2 1/2, I will. If not, it'll be 2 1/4, 2 1/3. Whatever they will, they'll be the same, obviously. And then I will do a narrow binding in black all the way around it. But I just wanted to give you that little hint. To conserve fabric is to cut your squares apart down the long length of the strip on both sides first, and then trim them apart the short way. And that way you will have your binding strips already cut. On Merry and Bright, and I'm gonna put this on my blog. One of the things I wanted to do with Merry and Bright, especially for the multi-needle, this does not apply to single needle machines, but if for you multi-needle girls, one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to anchor the colors in the machine to tell it, this spool is that number, this spool is that number, this spool is that number, and I did that successfully. The problem is when I brought in the pattern, when I put the 3 of them together, I did it using Embrilliance. Sometimes Embrilliance didn't recognize the color, and then I had to kind of substitute the color because, for instance, the metallics. There are 3 spools of metallic thread in the gold and white thread kit, and that's not part of the Isocord palette. Also, 176 Fog is not in the Isocord library in Spanky, the 10 needle. So I kind of had to do some maneuvering to tell it, okay, we're going to use a different color, and then I'll make sure to put Fog on the spool. So the intent that I wanted to do was not have to go through and tell it each spool what color to use. Well, I ended up having to do that anyway. That's neither here nor there. That's fine. But one of the things that I did was I did like a thread analysis because I don't want to change threads any more than I absolutely have to. And so I will put this on my blog. But what I did was, let me zoom in here so you can see this. This is the color number. And then the color number, if it's in parentheses, so 176, that's not in the Isocord library on the machine. And I've notified some people in the know about that. Maybe they can fix that on an update. I'm using 131, which is a like color. So I told Spanky that it was this one, but it doesn't matter. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to identify how many times was this particular color, like 15 is white and 20 is black. How many times is that color used throughout all of the designs, all 32 tiles. So I've got 3 pages here. This is tile 1 through 8, 9 through 21, and 22 through 32. So every time the color is used, I put an X. And I put all this together using the find feature in the PDF document. I just searched for the color number and it would tell me how many times it was used, and then I just put a little X in the tile every time I found it. So I spent about a day putting all this together. But what this told me was, here in the pink squares, the tiles that only have thread colors in the pink squares or light purple squares, that's the 10 spools on Spanky. These ones in the yellow, they have oddball thread colors. You get 13 spools of thread and then plus black. So that's a total of 14 spools of thread that you need in order to put all of your tiles together. Well, I have white and black on the machine already, and that meant another 8 for the 10 needle machine. Another 8 would go on there. So which tiles do I need to stitch that don't use the other 4 threads? And those other 4 threads are identified in the baby blue. I told you I'm a nerd. I also have the number of times that the color is used. That's not that big of a deal. And then if I've completed the block, I put a little X. That was done on the single needle machine right there. But here, so you can see, I'm doing all of the blocks that don't have anything in the yellow. So these 4 still need to be done. But these 3 are done and all of these are done. And it's very handy to have a check mark so you know that you've finished. And then the ones that are just half a mark, that's a little annotation for me to tell me that I've already loaded this design. These 3 at a time, these 3 and these 3 are loaded on the USB stick and ready to go over to Spanky. So all of these tiles, 22 through 32, can all be sewn with the threads that are on Spanky today, right now. And then same goes with tiles 9 through 11, 16 through 21, 1, 2, and 8. Once all of those are done, then I will go in and look at the threads that I need to change out, or I'll do as few thread changes as possible. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just trying to get as much as I can done at one time without having to change threads on every stitch out. That's proven to be pretty efficient so far. And then over here I have which spool that particular color is on. I will also let you know too, the SN1 or S12 or S7, in the instructions it tells you that's 7005, 7001, and 7011. And then I use different color numbers that I told Spanky, but that didn't prove to be anything. Anyway, and then I also used a little bit of embroidery tape and identified these color numbers on the top of the thread guides, so I know what's where. So that's it for Merry and Bright for now. The official videos doing it together start July 5th. Should be a lot of fun. But I'm learning a lot through this. I'm having a ball. Okay, so now the Creative Notions bag reveal. Y'all, this one is so cool. This one is so cool. I think this is awesome. It's all about the family tree, which is just fabulous. Especially with me being in DAR. You know I love that stuff. Let's start with some cookies. We have Maker's Planner washi tape. That came in there. How handy. I like washi tape. I use it all the time. We've got a 5.5-inch ruler. Did you guys see that? We're getting bigger and bigger rulers every time. Put that in the collection. And we have beautiful fabrics with some panels. Let me talk to you about what this is. This was for May 2021, not June. This is for May. We have a family tree panel. Let me show you what that looks like. Whether it be the family we are born with or family we choose, we love them all. We want to celebrate our families this month by putting their picture on a quilt for all to see and remind us of how wonderful being part of something so amazing feels. What a nice sentiment that is. Isn't that cool? So we have a family tree panel. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at this. Look at that. It says family, like branches of a tree on a tree, we all grow in different directions, yet our roots remain as one. How nice. See this? Just awesome. Okay, this is from Sugar and Spice Textiles. Let me get back so you can see it. There we go. Can you see it all better now? Let me see what you can see. Yeah, there we go. That's what it looks like. That's the panel. There's my spaceman and my light. So you get a family tree wall hanging pattern. Let me show you this. There's the pattern, and these are the printouts that you can do of everybody's face, and you get inkjet transfer paper. So this is the paper you can print out their pictures on, and it's an iron-on. You iron the pictures to this fabric, and we have some striped fabric to put around the edges. There we go. It says grateful, dream together, kindness, happiness, cherish, love, laugh, home, family, joy. Beautiful stuff. Just gorgeous stuff. Okay. So on the family tree pattern, the wall hanging, and they've got videos to show you how to do this too. You get some little Velcro sticky dots, and you have the panel, and then you're supposed to print out your pictures. It shows you how to print out your pictures and how to place them on there. You can border your pictures with the little dot portion of the fabric. See the dots? You would border your pictures with the dots. And then the panel itself, you use the little triangles here. Use these triangles as your inner border, and you will use the words in blue as your outer border. Very nice. That is so cool. Andrea came up with that. Andrea Matthews from Sugar and Spice Textiles. So neat. What a neat project. And then they show you how to make a quilt sleeve on the back. Very cool. I love that. I think I'm gonna do that. I don't have anything like that. So the total bag value is $86. Very nice. If you've ever done one of these family tree kind of things, let me know. Make a comment below. I'd be interested. Or join our Facebook group and post a picture of your family tree quilts in our Facebook group, Power Tools with Thread Facebook group. We're almost 10,000 members. Pretty neat stuff. All right, you guys, that's it. I've been talking to you a long time. I need a glass of iced tea. We'll talk to you soon. Go sew something. Bye.